you afraid to cross the street? Or should I say, are you afraid to make your right hand meet your left hand? A lot of people in life always talk about bridges. Some people always say don't burn bridges. There's a lot of bridges been burnt in this world that we all know. And I will say, a lot of people always say, don't look back in the past, don't look back in the past. What happened in the past is the past. I'm not going to be one person to agree with foolish people and say, yeah, the past is the past. No. What happened in the past is what made the present day livable. And this is what they call life right now, right? Always hear a lot of humans in modern day 2026, because you have to put numbers and post on a lot of things you speak about, because a lot of people, they like to play with the world nowadays. They like to manipulate life, and I don't really care how people feel about people's opinion in this world. Because like I always say, a lot of people are very brave to say a lot of things. And I don't mean brave as in they will take on things. I mean brave as in foolish. Okay? They will take upon things, but they don't see what they're taking upon. And I remember when I said I started this YouTube page, I'm not into no popularity or attention. Nah, I don't want that. Because I know what I'm saying right now, don't matter if somebody is listening or not. As in people being in this chat. That doesn't matter. The tone of my voice and the vibration is going to get out there to the world, and it's out there to the world already. Sometimes people may get mad because when they speak, who they want to hear their voice don't hear their voice. Let me say this. That's not all amazing, okay? Because what you speak, right? And if it's nice and pure and natural, it's going to reach the right ears. It's going to reach the right soul. It's going to reach the right people. And that means, like, even if you in front of people and y'all there talking and they use the vibration of ignoring you, it's okay. One thing I want people to really realize in this world, we have to stop acting like this world is peachy and creamy. Stop it. Let's stop acting like there's rose petals all around the world, and just because you may want to speak positive, right, doesn't mean that it's not destruction and disaster going on in the world. Yes, I love to live positive, and I love to overstand many things that go on, trials and tribulations in life. But I'm not going to deny facts that go on. Humans dying, women being, taken advantage of, kids being taken advantage of, corruption. I'm not going to deny that. And this is why I always bring up people's fake gods. Because I don't care what you believe in. I believe in fighting over your little nonsense. Because people talk about justice. People talk about righteousness. People talk about equality. I hear people talk about all these nice and great things that human beings will love to say out their mouth. But like I always say, I don't care what you say. Because it's not a dream, right? But like I said, China and Africa always been inside of my mental mind and my spiritual. And it's a shame sometimes when I see how humans use money and materialistic things as a hierarchy against other humans, and I hate it. Okay, I'm not one of those. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I stand alone in many things, in many circumstances and situations where I don't like it, because if you look at money as a hierarchy and we use humans, I'm just saying like this. Do you think about the little kid in Afghanistan that don't got... See, we call this is, let me see. I'll just take $1 American. Take this dollar, right? And just imagine all the money, or I will say the currency around the world. Now I'm using this American dollar, George Washington, as an example, okay? Now, you go to Trinidad, or Jamaica, or St. Thomas, or Canada, Ukraine, Russia, Uzbekistan. It's not the same money, okay? But you know what's the same? This thing that people use in the dictionary, this word called the struggle. Pain. And this is why I tell people, like, I'm not into playing, because when you think that you can listen to certain people around this world speak certain things, and this is why I said, like, I don't even like saying this, but out of the 47 presidents that we had in the public eye in America, I could bring 20 people from New York City, and I'm just saying New York City, but I could take regular people from the whole United States. And I'm talking about people from all races, all nationalities, and debate any president in America history. Because when you say America and we say the red, white, and blue, right? I will tell you this. The people in America that you don't see in the public eye, we have some of the brightest people in America. But the thing is, they like to advertise the hate that we got going on in America. And I do talk a lot about slavery, injustice, and many different things around the world, but certain things I haven't put on this platform yet, because, as I say, I don't play with the world and universal things, because it's not a game. And when I look at a lot of people that's inside of America that's intelligent, you can forget about our colleges. But you can just look at the people on the outskirts of our colleges, and let me tell you something. We have bright people in America that are super, I'm going to use it, super duper smart. See, but the thing is, people like to, when you have hate in your mind, in your heart, and in your whole aura, you may only see things your way, or you may only see things the way you was raised. And for some people, you could do that. That's all gravy. That's how you was raised. But for a lot of people, as I say, they was raised in this world with nothing. Some people was raised with, if I take, let me see, this is $1, and this is, let me see, I'll take $5, right? $5. We will use this $5 as $1,000,000. Okay? This is American money. This is $1,000,000. This is 500,000. Some people don't have none of it around the world. And the reason why I'm using, as we have smart people in America of all different races and nationalities, I always say, when we have money in America and we have the knowledge and the resources, we got to help people that don't got. And I don't care what nobody say in this world. And the reason why I say that, because a lot of people, they be you with your fake God's talk. Okay? And the reason why I always say your fake God talk, because don't matter how you do this and that. If I look in front of your face and you breathing out of your nostrils and out of your mouth, and your eyes blink more than once, don't tell me nothing that's unbelievable. Don't tell me something that's mystic. And it's so funny how people will want to say this and that, different things, right? But you be stuck in a book, all type of books. Religions, yes, I'm talking about. But you don't know how to be honest to the whole world. Because as I say, religions keep a lot of people in a box. And the box that they in, they forget that the universe is so big. Even me as a Rasta, being a Rasta, I understand that I cannot turn the whole world Rasta. I understand that the whole world is not going to bend to my way of life. And that's how people that are Christians, Catholics, Islam, Judaism, you cannot force people into your religion, because if you think you can force people into your religion, right, how universal is it? Because I'm going to get back to the 500,000, $1,000,000. Now, what about that young kid that grew up in an alley in China, and he don't know how to even count or read, but he know what hunger is. He know what struggle is. And struggle and hunger is universal. You don't, it ain't no color. It ain't no religion. A human putting food inside their mouth and getting it to their belly, you ain't gotta write no script for that, okay? That's natural. So when you see a world that we live in, and people don't understand how certain people put certain things, yes, me, I am very capable of breaking many things down to sand or like salt, but nowadays I don't like it, because You could understand and see that some people love the world, how the world is going. And I'm only 42 years old, being born in 1982, but from 1982 to right now, I've seen some of the worst human beings in my lifetime. And awful can't even fill the plate of saying something. I can remember growing up in the Bronx in Brooklyn, and what we call poor or underprivileged back then, nobody ain't look at that. And forget Bronx and Brooklyn, okay? Forget that. When I said in one of my lives, I think it was maybe 6 days ago or probably 7 days ago, this world is bigger than what you think. So I remember I'm always having visions in my mind. And when you even see TV and read books, your eyes shape a lot that hits your mind, or like I like to say, your mental mind. And when it hits your eyes, because let me say this, people use smartphones and cameras, but your eyes and your mind, that's the first smartphone and camera in world history, okay? Let me say it again. All these computers, tablets, cell phones, TVs, your eyes and your mind is the first of all what they made. But humans like to stay on a low level and just not even think. I like how people like to say they think outside the box, but thinking outside the box, you don't even know that what was going on in your mind made many boxes in this world. So when I thought about different things, of looking at things in a different way, I said, wow, it ain't people just poor in Brooklyn and the Bronx or New York City. And when I say poor, let's forget about this right here. Because eating and feeding somebody should be universal care. Me, I don't think no human on earth should go hungry. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel. But we have that every day, where I remember I told my cousin the other day, I said, yo, do you know it's some people in this world that they don't even eat some days, right? But you got some people, they'll throw money away. They would waste money. And I hear a lot of people talk about, when you say stuff like that, right, you pocket watching. Let me tell you something. I never watch another man or woman pocket, or anybody pockets in this life. And I don't care about doing that, because envy and jealousy is something that shouldn't be a part of your aura, or shouldn't even be in your realm. Okay? Because, yeah, I watch a lot of people talk about, if you believe in God and you know God, right? It ain't nothing out there that another person has that you must want. Because you know why? Simple and plain. Vanilla ice cream. God gonna take care of that. What you want. Not as in greed, but what you want and He knows that you need. Okay? Listen again. What you want and what He know you need. Those are two different things. Because people want. You could want a whole bunch of riches, right? But God will just give you a house because you need shelter. Okay? You could want a Mercedes Benz, but God may just give you a bike to get to work. Okay? And you may want a 5-star restaurant, but God gonna make sure you just have enough food to fill your belly. And this is the word that we living in, where just cause you okay, don't mean that somebody else across the world ain't okay. And that's the problem with people, human beings. They thinking that, okay, we gonna floss. Don't matter where you at. Don't matter who you are. People use this, and we could use, for example, and say that this is gold chains. That's jewelry, right? And we could say this is the keys, this is diamonds. People use all three of those things and try to belittle each other. Now, let me tell you something. When I watch people belittle each other with material objects, right, I always ask myself, and I always say to myself, God ain't nowhere there. And sometimes the best, not revenge, but the best answer to a lot of people like that is to just stay quiet and humble. Watch and learn. Okay? Wait, watch, and see. WWS. A lot of people may think that WWS is simple, right? But wait, watch, and see. Whether you can use wait, watch, and see on 2 skills, but I ain't gonna really teach the world that yet. Because wait, watch, and see is something that I made. You know? And when I put it out to the world, I know that it could help the world. You know, I watch a lot of people say they put things out to the world, but what you're putting out to the world, could it help more than yourself or your people? And as I said, like, I'm from the South Bronx, where we ain't got nothing, but we gonna make something. Okay? I'm gonna say it again. We ain't got nothing, but we gonna make something, and we not down because we gonna get up. I'm gonna say this, man. The South Bronx ain't never make no failures. We don't know about staying down, because it's gonna be a fight every day. But you know what? I give you a lesson that the South Bronx taught me. I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna be there for that fight every day. And we not talking physically, but this is where I tell you that spiritual and that mental mind comes in with the strength that you need every day. And this is why when I first started this, I said, yo, I'm not one of the $1,000,000 and $1 billion motivational speakers. No, I'm not none of that. I'm what you call a poor man's and poor woman. I speak for them. Because whether you rich with this materialistic thing or you don't got none of it, I'm for the people who ain't got none of that, but they rich in heart and soul and mental mind. Because trust me, your heart, your soul, and your mental mind, God is there in all three of those things. The Most High, the One, Jah, Selassie, Buddha, Allah, Ganesh, Krishna, whatever you want to call the superior, the One, is there. But you gotta know and believe. Okay? Forget about the distractions that go on in this world. Because there's a lot of distractions that go on in this world till this day that want to make you fall low. But when you believe and you know, see, a lot of people always tell people believe in God or believe in this and that, man. Like, yo, I'm going to be honest to you and I'm going to be real. A person got to know something first. in order to have some belief about it, okay? And this is why I say I don't like when people try to teach people about something, but you ain't teaching them about the beginning. You ain't teaching them about the origins. And this is why I said we have to teach each other, because somebody hurt, right? And you don't know the hurt and pain. But you think it's okay to tease them or down them even more? Nah. And that's another thing that I don't play with in this world. I don't care what nationality you is. I don't care what color you is. I don't care what religion you is. I don't like humans downing humans, because you take it as something where you can laugh at with you and your friends and your family, right? But you know what it is for a person to really feel like shit? Huh? And I ain't talking about you watching a person cry or feel sad. You know what it's like for a person to really feel down and can't pick themselves up? No, you don't. Because you only know what false thing is, to be big around everybody else, but you little around yourself. Let me say it again. You don't know what that means, because you big around everybody else, but you little around yourself. Now let me tell you this. When you got spiritual growth, right? You will be small around everybody, because you know you got to stay humble. Okay? And being small around everybody is not you being timid. It's not you being soft. Nah. It's years upon years of training, of knowing who you are. And trust me, you're supposed to evolve, because you was 1 year old before, and you are who you are to your age right now, till this day that you are listening to my voice. So you know, if you have common sense, it's growth that you went through. Okay, so when we look at this world and we see people that do strange things to others, sometimes I used to get real mad at a lot of the nonsense, but I learned that you have to really protect your peace. And protecting your peace, it ain't only silence. Okay? Protecting your peace is really knowing that you don't gotta blow up. And protecting your peace is knowing chaos as well. Okay? Because I don't like how people think they can manipulate people and tell them, oh, that person is a peaceful person, but you will want to do nonsense to them and thinking that they shouldn't do anything back to you. And this is why I tell you, the world of human beings like to manipulate people. Somebody will know that you are a peaceful person, right? And this is why I always say, fight back and never sit down, okay? Don't let nobody clown you, because those people that try to act like they're so-called bullies or gangster or thugs, I don't care what part of the world they from. The biggest coward is the one that messes with people, okay? That's the biggest coward. I don't care whether you're female or male. See, people forgot about this world correction. I'm not with that nonsense, okay? Because I'm with respect. Respect. A male is supposed to have respect. A female is supposed to have respect. Y'all think it's okay to dish out disrespect. Y'all think it's okay to do certain things because certain people are certain people. No. Equal opportunity for everybody. You think because she look good that she must disrespect everybody? You think because he got money he can say what he wants to everybody? That sound weird, right? But that's how certain people make things run in the world. And some people will say, what? No, no. Let me tell you, for example, a female could look gorgeous, right? But a lot of people let her get away with disrespecting just because she looked gorgeous, but she got an ugly aura, okay? And she know that. And this is why I tell people, humans, I'm gonna give you the little part of WWS. Humans play manipulation with humans because they know that certain humans are not smart to see. Okay? And not see with their eyes, but see further than their eyes could see. Okay? Because if you living in today, right? And you just living in today, let me tell you something. People are living in tomorrow and ready plan for the next day. While you stuck. Okay? You stuck. And this is why I say all the nice religions they got in the world. It's so funny how they want to forget about spirituality and always tell the people that that's not nothing. No, it's okay. You have to really understand that the humans are going to fall into their own death. Okay? And I lead them. You know, I lead them. Because, let me tell you something. Don't save somebody that ain't going to die for you. Let me say it again. Don't save somebody that ain't going to die for you. Okay? And that's many of the people out here. Bless up, Marlene. Bless up, man. Good morning. And thank you for being in the building. Thank you. Bless up. Happy new month. Happy new month to you as well. Humans waste money and resources. Yes, they do. And they don't even understand. I understand it. It's the Aquarius in us that we don't care about being different. We stand for justice. No, and shout out to all my Aquarius in the world. High or low, negative or positive. Keep on doing your thing. I love us. The news only show hate, not the good and positive things. Yes, and that's right. And many people could say when they watch the news, right? Whether it's the 6 o'clock news, the morning news that comes on, like all different hours. Some people really want to see good things on the news. You know, some people will tell you they're tired of seeing depressed things on the news. They're tired of seeing nastiness on the news. They're tired of seeing drama. Food and water should be free. Yes, food and water should be free, but it ain't even free because humans learn how to manipulate humans, and humans love to manipulate life that we live in. Because they'll tell you they're taking care of the world. They're doing something for the world. They're doing something for people. They care for people. Well, let me see if you could do good for people without looking for get back. Some people in the world, they can't do that. And when people look to break us up into all different groups and all different religions, sometimes that shows the ugly side of us as human beings on earth. For the different religions and groups, it shows the ugliness of human beings. Because as I said, from 1984 to right now, whether you want to talk positive or you want to talk good, I seen ugliness come from human beings. When it comes to religion, when it comes to pigmentation, and many humans will fight you for negative energy. Many humans will fight you because they know they're wrong. And many humans will fight you because they have nothing else in life to fight for. And how some say we all living to die. Nah, we ain't living to die. We living to live on. We living to move on. Okay, we living to carry on. You cannot let these people hit you with all this dark stuff. You cannot let these people hit you with all this nonsense because somebody that don't got life can't teach you about life. They think that talking about religion is life. They think that talking about money is life. They think that what they see nowadays in modern day society is life. Well, let me tell you something. All of the things in the world that they created, we could go up and down the list. But they don't want to do that because playing with the human race and manipulating the human race is a great job. And it may sound bad, but it's true. They wouldn't know how to live if they not corrupting the people. Because a lot of people that think that I am getting on your religion, I ain't getting on your religion. I want you to open your eyes and open your soul. But I learned that many humans wouldn't open their eyes and they wouldn't open their soul because they're stuck with what they was taught. And when you are stuck with what you're taught, I ain't got no hate for you. But I surely know that I hear what you're saying, but I can't intake what you're saying. You know, I can't intake what you're saying because what you're saying may be hurtful to all of us. The tongue is very powerful, but what comes from the mind is powerful as well. Make sure you make wise decisions in life. Thank you, Marlene, for being in the building. I'm about to run this to 40 minutes and I'm gonna run out. You know. And thank you for that live the other day, Marlene. On let me see what it was. That was the 31st. That was a great live. You know, the end of July. That was a good live, you know, because many people... Oh, bless up, brother. Bless up, Proud. Bless up. Now, I was just there talking about Marlene's live from yesterday. I had watched like 20 minutes of it first, and then I had to watch the whole thing again, you know, and saying that, like, I'm glad you entered the building, bro. And this is why I say, you know, like, I grew up where I had to think I'd be the best of the best, you know, but when it came to this YouTube thing, when I look at Marlene, proud and open-minded, that's like 4 million to me. I respect their support, whether it's one time out of the 7 days of the week, or whether it's twice. See, people don't. I always hear people say they appreciate stuff, right? But in which way? Which way, or how do you appreciate things? Like, and the thing is, a lot of people always appreciate what people give to them. But do you appreciate what you give to others? I don't know. And how you look at it in this world that we live in today, we in the give me, give me, give me. And me, when I look at the simple things of them just coming on this live for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I appreciate it, because, as I said, the right people will listen. And if you don't listen, it's all good, because I'm not here to, drag everybody to come and listen to my page. No, this ain't a track meet. I'm not into competition with nobody on YouTube. I'm driving in my own lane, like Mario Kart. Even though Mario Kart, it was, King Koopa, Mario, Bowser, Yoshi, Princess. I forgot the other princess name. But all of those, they're driving in Mario Kart, doing different tricks to each other, as you see humans do in life to try to get to the finish line. But in life, I will say, what finish line are you getting to? Huh? Because you pick up a lot of things along the way as we're going around the laps. And the laps is your age. But in Mario Kart, the laps is the ground. And in Mario Kart, when they played, before you got to the board, you had to pick which board you get on, or which board you wanted to play on. Now, that's like every year. You have different scenarios that's going to happen. Let me tell you something. An empress once told me, and this is why I tell you this, man. Like, simple stuff goes very much a long way with me, cause even right now, if I'm there telling somebody or teaching somebody something, and they not correct you, but this is why I always say, I don't know if you remember that live where I was talking about me, Open-Minded, Marlene, and Proud. We was at a board meeting, and they had coffee. We was talking about different liquids. If you come with love and you come with positivity of a lot of people around each other and sharing and caring for each other real with no ill intent, it's magic. Okay? It's magic. And that's what some people, that's real love. Because comes to the point where you want to see your brother shine, you want to see your sister shine, and it ain't no hate in your heart. It ain't no hate in your heart. And like I always, when I listen to some of Marlene's lives, I hear her talk about she want her gems to make it. And when you listen to Proud lives, he hit you with that joint where if you need to be put in your place, you need to be put in your place. But other than that, you hear him talking positive energy towards people. You hear him giving positive energy. When Open-Minded out there hitting different posts. Because me and Open-Minded met in some chat like years ago. But the shit is, he was hitting different frequencies that related to me. And I overstood it. You know, like, my brother got this thing that he say, you gotta understand the assignment. And I remember my brother used to say that as a teenager. I'm like, is you trying to tell me some smart stuff, or is you playing with me? And my brother is a Gemini, but I will say he's more than my brother, because he's like one of my teachers, you know, like one of my life teachers, I would say. And I would say my mother, brother, and father, like, forget the teachers in school. My mother, brother, and father have been the best life teachers that I ever had, because they all teach me stuff on a different level. And I break that down about my father and my mother, how they teach me things. But like my brother, as I said, for example, like, I could read a book 3 times, he could read it 1 time, and he would understand the book quicker than me in reading it 1 time. But I will have to read it 3 times to really dive deep into getting certain things to break down and talk to you about the book. Him here read it 1 time and he will broad stroke every chapter, like, yo, they said that and they did this in that chapter, like chapter 2 is good. And I'd be like, I'd be like, I didn't like what they said in chapter 2 on page 37. And he'll be there telling me, well, I'll put it to you like this. He'll tell somebody that read half of the book, right? He'll be like, did you finish the book? And if somebody tell him no, he won't get on them of saying you got to finish the book. But he'll give you an example. He'll be like, that's why you don't understand what's going on in the middle of the book. You know, and I remember when he used to do certain things like that to me, like, if I lose a basketball game or something, and I tell my brother, like, let me tell you something. I go home, my brother used to laugh and feel sorry, but I'm going to be honest to you. When he laughing, I could feel that shit in my chest. You feel me? And you did, like, he ain't got no emotions. He don't know what just went on, but I say he was a rough teacher that I always needed, because when I seen things one way, he seen things the other way, where I needed to see it the other way. I needed to look at things from his viewpoint. And that's with all of us in this world, as in people in different divisions, and when we come together. Like, Proud may not have it all together, but he may have it halfway. And if Marlene come and she get it to 3/4, then Open-Minded come and get it to 4/4. We're complete. Like, you have to always watch out for the people that like to be so-called the only one on the top, or to be the superior, and everybody else just is so-called below them. You cannot appreciate truth and dump on the folks telling it at the same time. It don't work like that. You're damn sure right. The victory lap isn't crossed until we pass away, because we driving until that time comes. Yes, we don't stop, you know, and that's just like, you know, with this live. I don't want nobody to stop. If you feel tough days coming, or you feel that it's a tough day, keep going. It's always good. Like, even when I was saying I was talking about Marlene live, and I liked that live she did yesterday, because it was of us taking care of ourselves. And being born on February 4th, being an Aquarius, I'm very strict with a lot of things, where a lot of people call me mean and evil. But I would just say like this: I don't go for certain shit that everybody else go for, and that I don't go for certain shit that everybody else go for. Many people call me weird or strict, or many people, I will say, that can't even have no understanding, and many people that like to manipulate people, they call me difficult. But I learned that those are the people, they're difficult because, as I say, if I could understand you and sit down and talk to you, but you want to be difficult, I don't have no time for you, because if I could be universal, right, and you stay stuck in the box, what am I helping you for? And that's why I said, like, that live that Marlene did yesterday, I needed to hear that one. I needed that one, because we do try to, good-hearted people and Aquarian people, we do try to help the world. Where I'm going to make a live about Aquarius one day, because I think we are the most misunderstood sign in the world. And knock on wood, I think we are the best sign in the world. But human beings don't understand us. And a lot of people would like to call us weird, crazy, detached. But the thing is, you use all these words, right? But I always ask people when they call us detached, weird, crazy, I always say, do you ask why I'm detached? Do you ask why I'm crazy? Do you ask yourself why I am the way I am? Or do you just throw out words because they are nice? Or do you just throw out words because that's what fits what you see? A person may say, like, that person always mad, right? And that may be true. But do you know the root of why that person is always mad? And if you don't, sometimes you should leave stuff alone, or sometimes you should shut up, or sometimes you should really ask what you're thinking. You know, don't just say, oh, it's an because many people judge me throughout my life, right? And I never bang the gavel on them and judge them. I use, shout out to Open Minded, I use an open mind. You know, because if we don't use an open mind with each other in this world as human beings, we're going to always be stuck in our own section and stuck with what we're stuck with ourselves, stuck with what we grew up with. And I love the South Bronx. I love Brooklyn. I love New York. I love the Caribbeans. But I learned that I can't be stuck in that. You know? I can't be stuck in that situation. Hold on 1 minute, please. Hold on 1 minute. Give me 50 seconds. Okay, I'm here. Sorry about that. Okay, fuel of mind, body, and spirit. Yep. If you don't intend to cook, don't place yourself in no kitchen. If you don't seek to learn a recipe, life principles are the richest soul food we can digest. Yes, we are plugged into the outlet of reality where those detached who are just projects stay unplugged from it. That's why we are miserable, mislabeled, and misunderstood. Excuse me. And I definitely don't have all the answers. Oh no! And I tell people, like, that's why I always say I'm not scared to stumble. I'm not scared to fall. Because if you think you know it all, you know nothing at all. And I'm always open to learn because I know that me being open to learn, or any one of us being open to learn, that's how we get wiser. But when you think that you know it all, you ain't got nothing. And you ain't getting nothing. So I don't wanna I don't want nobody, excuse me for that. I don't want nobody to think that, yeah, you got all the answers or you know it all. No, no, you don't, man. It's a learning lesson because if you did know it all, you I don't think you'll be on Earth with us humans. So some people you have to some people you have to leave them with their nonsense, but then some people, to be honest with you, you have to correct their nonsense, because you can't be letting everybody, you can't be letting like nonsense slide, and that's one thing that been going on in the world. People been letting nonsense slide, and I don't like I don't like to let nonsense in this world slide because yeah, there's many things in this world that you're not supposed to pay attention to, but it's many things in this world that we must keep on putting correction to. Okay, and that's why I say a lot of people get mad at me and be like, oh, you always think you're better than everybody. You think, well, no, 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 I don't. And like Proud always say, I can't, let me see, I'll paraphrase. He said, I can't, let me see, hold on. He said people don't get mad at what he say about them, but people get mad at what he say. And if I look at a similar thing with me, and I may be wrong of paraphrasing what he said, but a lot of people in my lifetime, when I got to really understand like life and human behavior, I seen that a lot of these humans, the same ones that I help and even other ones that I didn't help, of what we call strangers and friends and family, I seen the envy and the hate inside of their souls. Okay? And I seen how I'm gonna use the word retarded, the retarded human beings try to use their envy and hate and their negative and their jealousy and turn it around and call you misunderstood, crazy, this and that. And this is why I say a lot of humans I don't respect, okay? Because they full of nonsense. They full of shit, okay? And I'ma always say it. I don't like fake people. I don't like fake things. I don't like fake energy, okay? Okay. I love folk because Jah gives us chances. Hold on. Jah gives us chances to correct when we fall to get back up. Yeah. People don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. Nobody knows everything, so that You think you know everything? Shit is one the dumbest damn things I hear, because those same people shit on who values their intelligence because they don't value theirs. No, and sometimes you love it, sometimes you say like you don't. To me, I learned now I don't care if people misunderstand me, because in my lifetime people gonna misunderstand me anyway. So I learned to, I embrace it. I embrace it because everybody gonna look at you different. And if you want people to look at you as the same, or you want people to have the same feeling about you that you have about them, like we gotta get at what's that, not the movie, video game, um Final Fantasy for, what is it, PlayStation, right? That used to come on the demo discs, and then people used to get the I can't even remember Final Fantasy, the first game, but I remember we used to joke on Final Fantasy. But then when you took your time and sat down and actually played Final Fantasy, it was an okay video game. Because I remember playing the demo disc a lot, and it was cool. It was okay. But you had to sit down and start understanding it and overstanding the game, but it was cool. Shout out to a lot of the old PlayStation games from the early days, of PlayStation. I don't know. I don't even really have my Xbox in my room just picking up dust, and I don't know. I don't really even care about it no more. Okay, let me see that. How you hate on somebody for educating. That's how we learn, by helping each other. Well, yeah, that is how we learn, by helping each other, but we have to understand, not you, we have to understand that ignorant people, they will never learn, and they would like to always cut the learning curve. Okay? The reason why we have some people in this world that will never learn, because people, they glorify being stupid. Let's just be honest, okay? And this is why I be mad at a lot of our brothers and sisters in the so-called hoods, because they glorify being idiots. They glorify everything that is against life. Okay? And people would like to try to make claims of making things sound good. No, it's stupid. And this is why I always tell black people, stop parading around everybody in the crowd, because everybody in the crowd is laughing at you. But no, I remember saying all this stuff when I'm 14 years old, and trust me, so-called black people, those are the people that I watch turn against me the most. I watch black people turn on me just so they could look good in front of other people, so everybody else could so-called call me the idiot. And when I looked at it, now, as I say, some black people in this world, you are shameful, okay? And I don't care how much you be thinking that street stuff is gangster. That shit is weak. I'm gonna keep saying this, yo. The black man in the streets of America and around the world is one of the weakest and most pussiest human beings ever in world history. But y'all look at it as tough. I tell you, the human being ain't never been so stupid. Wow! How you tough, right? But another man could put your hands behind your back, whether they black, white, Chinese, or whatever you want to consider them, and put you in a cell. How you tough when a man could put you behind a car? How you tough when people could take your fingerprints? How you tough when a person could lock you down 23 in 1? It's not tough, okay? It's not tough. But this is why I say that black people and other people, you only want to use the government when it's beneficial, for you. You only want to say racism when it's beneficial for you. But you think you care about the whole, and this is why I say I don't give a damn what people say, because when you can't talk on my scale and you just want to talk about what you think that is beneficial for you and yourself, I don't give a damn. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. Because let me tell you this. A lot of so-called street people in this world, they're not intelligent, okay? They're not intelligent. And I'll put it to you like this. I'm not on none of their sides, okay? I'm not on no police side. I'm not on no law enforcement side. I'm not on no gangster side. I'm not on no thug side. I'm not on no scammer side. I'm not on none of their sides. I stand alone. I say fuck both of them. Excuse me. For real. For real. I'm not like... People be thinking if you... One thing I tell you, black people and people in the world need to learn. When you trying to correct your people, that ain't got nothing to do with you being law enforcement or got anything to do with law enforcement. And that's how stupid a lot of black people are and people around this world. Because they think correction is going with people. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about people correcting people, right? It's going with the police, right? But y'all defend the police every day. Y'all defend the system every day of killing your brother, of downgrading your brother and sister. So, like, this one thing I be telling you, when people think that they could use their... Don't use that word, that's not nice. Delvin, don't say that, that's not nice. When people think that they could use their mind against you and they don't even know that what they're saying, you gotta really watch those people. You know, you gotta really watch those people. Let me see. How do you hate on somebody for educating? That's how we learn, by helping each other. To hate your brother and sister is to hate yourself. Well, you know, like I know, our people hate themselves. Like, let's just, like, and human beings, like, come on, like, let's just, they hate, like, one thing I don't like to do is play in denial or play like I don't know the answer to a question. You know, I don't, like, this is why I say I never respected that word African American or West Indian, or even, as some people say, African. I don't respect those three words. Yeah, we have to use them, but I'm respecting them because when you really look at the object of this life that we living in, right? Melanated people is always scared to step up to the challenge. And the people that... It's sad. It's sad, you know, because I always ask myself, you want to... It's just sad to the point where it's like, yo, what do y'all care about? What is your purpose in life? What are you doing? Huh? Like, what is you doing? And Some people ain't got no purpose in life. For real, they ain't got no purpose. I'm so sick of us as human beings pussyfooting about shit in this world. And they got real problems going on in this world. This is why I tell you, I laugh at people like Jim Jones, 38 Special, Jada Kiss, Cameron, Dame Dash. What do y'all think that they somebody? These are a bunch of grown freaking girls. They're a bunch of grown girls. And y'all look at them as rappers and entertainers. I don't look at them. I won't even call them guys. I don't look at those human beings like that. Okay? Because I just don't. Okay? Because they ain't shit. But y'all would want to think they shit because they made a rap song. Or they got freaking money. And then when you speak like how I'm speaking, they will tell you that you're hating. Hating on what? I'm not like these people, and there's certain people in the world. We don't care about money, how people lust about money. My money is to take care of me and my family. My money is not to shine around the world and to make somebody else feel like they ain't shit because they ain't got the money that I got. But when you look at that, and this is why I always say, what God did these people pray to? But people like to look over the fact. Come on, man. I don't care how much people like these rappers or whoever y'all think that we like. A lot of them don't give a F about y'all, okay? They don't care. For real, but people want to be like, oh, man, nah, no. I'm not cuddling people that don't care about me or my community. And a lot of these so-called rappers, whether it's Jay-Z, Jim Jones, Dave East, just because you listen to somebody's music don't mean that somebody cares about you and yours. But as I say, our people have blind love. Get in the face of blood, but not the enemy. That's coward shit. Well, whether people like it or not, a lot of black people in this world are cowards. And I'm just not one that's scared to say it. They're very much cowards. They're cowards. And I would say a lot of the black men, they're a pussy. Between a woman's, like for real. They're pussy. Like, straight up and down. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all really think that black men is gangsters and thugs in the street killing each other? They're the biggest pussies and cowards. Okay? But y'all think that they gangster. Y'all think y'all actually seeing something. Y'all actually think they something. Like, F out of here, man. Nah, they worse than they worse than slaves. For real, they worse than slaves. And like, see, that's the thing. People, it's very simple for us to say that people are slaves to materialistic things, right? But the thing is, these people don't think that they are slaves to materialistic things because we live in a world where people, like, let's just be honest, people brag about having materialistic things over on other people, and people think that that's a goal. People think that that's fucking success. Okay? Before they think spirituality is success, they think having money is success. They think Jim Jones. They think Alicia Keys. They think, like, come. Oh my gosh, Lord help me. They think what another human being made to glorify of what another human being made is successful. Wow. Okay. And this is why I say, like, humans are bright. For real, humans are bright, and I just never, have I don't got respect for them. I don't. Okay. If we're gonna use something as in teaching, yeah, we're gonna use it as in teaching and to move further. Yes, but when it comes to a lot of these so-called celebrities, I don't respect them because I'm gonna just say like this, man. Celebrities, a lot of them keep the world under the charades, but a lot of the celebrities, they are the ones that's supposed to pull the mask off. The same ones lying in their pockets watching them voluntarily tap dance. Well, human beings and black people mostly love to tap dance for you know who. For real. And they'll keep tap dancing. For real. Because they don't know better. They don't know life. Once you're so-called, put it like this, yo. A lot of human beings ain't gonna never know life because they live in a false life. For real. And when you want to talk about God, the world done been taught about a fake God and a false God. So, how you gonna tell a Chinese person, how you gonna tell somebody from Ukraine what you want them to believe in? I tell you, this world is full of shit. Full of a lot of people like to say a lot of things, right? But what you say don't add up to real reality in life. Okay? And I just ain't for the bullshit in the world. I'm not for the bullshit. Because while people bullshitting, it's real people in the world starving. It's real people in the world homeless. It's real people in the world ain't got shit. But y'all people think it's okay to be stupid. Y'all think it's okay. And this man. They have nothing I want. They have nothing I want, and I want nothing they have. Nah, they ain't got nothing, cause put it like this, man. Why would you want something from people that have materialistic gain? Nah, I don't want none of that. I got everything I want. I got everything I need already. Excuse me, Ja. And for those people that keep on searching, they gonna keep on searching. They gonna keep on looking, and how they say that rabbit hole gets very deep. Well, yeah. The more you keep searching, the deeper the rabbit hole gets. And trust me, this ain't a rabbit hole of knowledge. This is a rabbit hole of dark depths. And they're falling very far. And the fall is gonna be a lost fall. Okay, you remember in school we had the lost and found? Well, nobody ain't finding you, and you ain't gonna even find yourself. Okay, let me see. In this world, right, a lot of people that tell people, oh, find your purpose. Well, you know what? In finding life and finding your purpose, you would understand that a soul is a soul in this world, but human beings, oh, they're so damn naive that this is why I say when people teach, who you teaching and what you teaching? Come on, man. Often each other for a pair of sneakers or jewelry that don't mean shit. Well, to them it means a lot. And this is what I want our people to really understand. To them it means a lot. Okay? It do mean a lot. Because as I said, materialistic things and money and jewelry, it may not mean shit to me and you, Proud. and to the rest of the world that overstand, but to them, it means everything. Okay? Why you think the majority of the world, yes, we know we need money to do certain things and take care of family. That's how certain humans made it to enslave everybody. But the thing is, right? These people in the world that actually lust off of money, that's their God. Okay? You know, that's their God. And one thing I don't like to do with me, I don't play in denial. No. What I see is what I see. And what's there is what's there. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts, or maybes. And trust me, my eyes ain't gonna be lazy. Because the money, they love it. They love it. Come on. How many dudes and females, right, ran into the streets and left their family alone just to be in the streets? And you think they didn't love excuse me, I'm sorry, because a lot of people don't like to admit this. You think they didn't love the streets more than their family? And some people will say that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. This is what the ghetto is. This is what our people love. But no, they will want to say, that's not us. That's not me. No, it's not everybody. But this is the so-called stupid streets. Okay? For you to kill somebody for Jordans. For you to rob somebody for money, diamonds. You the shit. You caught a lick. You the man. You the woman. You know, but I don't know. That's what I tell you, man. Like, you can't educate the fool. You can't educate the fool because the fool will never learn. The streets just collect souls. Ain't no love in them. But the people love being devoted to meaningless shit that ain't worth their life. Well, how they say, you could only serve one master. The people that go out in the street, they know which master they serving, okay? They know who they serving. And the reason why they know who they serving, and people just don't want to admit this, and this is why I say that what I teach and what I say in this world, it may go over a lot of people's heads. And I don't care, because it will continue to happen, because people love to ignore the facts and people love to ignore the truth. The reason why half of the world are in the streets today, look how much religions we got in the world. But we only got 2 human being genders in this world. Okay? And then when you really want to draw it down, you could draw it down, to 1 and 2 to make 1. But humans are so smart, that they think that what they say is correct. And let me tell you something, man. Like I keep saying, well, I think taking care of your family is the most G thing you could do. I understand that. But somebody across the world ain't your family. Like, we have to understand that even though we're in different divisions, we're still a human family on earth. And I'm going to keep on fighting for all humans to have unity. Because it's okay for one set of humans to try to control everybody with power, right? But it's not okay to fight against that power. Nah. I'm always with fighting against the power of a lot of humans trying to control all humans, because that's what we're living in. And when I say that, this is why I say human beings in the world, even if they have religion, right? People just have that shit because they family members, but they really don't believe in that shit. Okay? They don't believe in that shit. Why you think a lot of the people they go by all these different religions, right? But then after that, they say people that are atheists, they don't have no religion and they're ungodly or this and that, right? Let me tell you something. Because you believe in God, don't make you good. And because you don't believe in their God, don't make you bad. Okay? I'm tired of people just looking at stuff and don't even have nothing behind it. I'm tired of people judging stuff that they don't even know. And this is why I'm going to always say, I'm very proud to say, I don't believe in their God. Okay? I'm never going to go with their God. Because when you think it's okay, right, to say God around the world, right? What are you talking about? Because it's okay for every human being in the world to say God, right? But what are you talking about? Huh? Hmm? Hmm? What are you talking about? And when you look at a lot of so-called world powers in this world, how they're always using God and they're always using this prayer and all of that, right? What are you talking about when we all know for a fact that they are some of the worst, evilest, rottenest people in the world, but we have a world that's broken, right? Of where you see human beings committing certain crimes around the world. Why do you think that human beings are committing certain crimes? Why do you think the world is in chaos? Ain't no statue a God, and there is only one God. Well, yeah, we know that, but the world don't know that, bro. We have to, and what we have to realize is, and we have to come to grips with, is that what we know and what we believe, the rest of the world don't know and believe, and the rest of the world doesn't live that way. And this is why we live in a world full of chaos. Because if we didn't, you wouldn't speak and live the way how you're speaking, positive and moving. I wouldn't live how I'm living. We are here to reverse what they are doing. They speak lies, we speak truth. They live lies, we live truth. And I'm going to always fight against it. I'm never going to sit down. I'm never going to settle. Okay? I'm never going to settle. Because every day, you make sure you swing your sword. Every day, after your battle, you make sure you sharpen your sword. You know, you don't make your sword go rusty. You don't make your sword go rusty. Nah. You get that water and you get that stone, and you sharpen your stone. You sharpen your stone and you be prepared for day upon day, day after day. Because for those people that don't think that it will be a spiritual battle, physical battle, or even a mental battle, many people battle with their minds every day. And this is why I started this, this is one of the reasons why I started this podcast / YouTube joint, because there's many people out here that's left in the world alone. And a lot of people in this world are selfish. Okay? It's easy for you to say things, right? But reach your hand out and really help people. And that's why I tell people, yes, I put a lot of black power stuff up on my page. But for all the people that always judge, right? I'll say this, man. You don't know me. Okay? Because I'm going to always speak about injustice. But I will never sit down or back down. Because nowadays I hear people saying reverse racism, reverse racist in the world, and I say, wow, melanated people really make these people talk and you don't have nothing to speak upon. No. I could talk ghetto with you, or we could actually really break stuff down and we could speak for real. And when you want to speak for real, a lot of people ain't willing to go there with you. Because when you speak for real, that's when a lot of things are peeling. A lot of things are being cracked. And it's just like you looking in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, even if you see the bad parts of yourself, and not in a physical appearance, but in a spiritual appearance, facts can't be debated. If I ain't talking truth, I ain't saying nothing. Yeah, and that's true, like for real, man. Like, shoot. When you look in the mirror and you look at the growth of yourself spiritually, and a lot of people don't know how to look at themselves without downing themselves. Let me tell you something. My young lion passed away a couple of years ago, and one thing that we always keep in mind and keep in body and soul is up. Okay? Up. Because, excuse me, y'all. Damn, yo. LIP my lion Saray, man. As I always tell people, I say bless up because I'm a Rasta. And I say bless up because of every day I'm on here. Me and many of my lions, we made that in a tribute to one of our young lions that passed away, named Saray. 26 bless up lion. And I remember the first time that he said it, and we was all there laughing. And we was laughing not as in bad, but we was laughing and joking on him. And I remember he said, yeah, man, we blessed, don't matter what. And I still got the Bible he gave me still till this day from 1999. I miss you, my lion, for real, man. 4's up. You already know what's up. And I remember I'm there looking at him, and like one thing that me and my lions and my boy cousins and girl cousins we do, we'll diss on each other until the cows come home. We will joke on each other till the cows come home. We would, what you call the dozens, like I grew up in a family where you're gonna get joked on, okay? You're gonna get joked on, and for friends that came in our family, you're gonna get the same thing, okay? Because that's just a little way of how we break you in, like you're gonna get joked on. So I remember I'm there looking at him, and I'm like, you're 5 years younger than me, and I said, bro, I remember telling him, like, and I'm looking at him laughing, and we all there laughing at him, because, you used to saying, Jah Rastafari, bless up, I am blessed. You used to saying that as kids, when the elders telling you bless, Jah bless, like you used to hearing bless up and shit, right? So I remember when he said, we blessed, man. And I'm there looking at him, I'm like, I said, bro, what you mean? He was like, we blessed. He said, no matter, man, we up or down. And I remember that conversation that, like, that some of the lions had when we was there laughing at him when he said it. And that was like the first time he said it like that, when it really stuck to all of us. And when he said it that day, it became part of us even more. And to be honest, right now, I miss my bro. For real, I miss my little bro. Cause a lot of these so-called tough guys and tough girls in this world, little bro didn't even try. He didn't even try. But he lived his life straight through. And how they say 100, he lived in 4 million. He cared for people that was older than him. He jumped out for the window for people that wouldn't even open the door for him. He was brave and fearless without a choice. And I'm going to end this part right here with that. Last thing I can remember of his biological big brother telling me that he looked up in the sky so when I say bless up, that shit hurt different. It hurt different and it hit different. Because me being at work right now, always say this. I didn't grow up around people that was fake. I didn't grow up around, like Proud just said, we don't say stuff if it ain't the truth. And I didn't grow up around men or women that didn't live true. Okay? I don't know how people say stuff nowadays and don't live it. I don't get that. You know, I don't get that. And I'm going to always keep Lil Bro name alive because I remember when he came from Jamaica. And Sarid, I don't know, sometimes God put certain people in your life, even with right now with Proud being in the chat, open-minded being in the chat, always say like they here, you know, and I understand that, but you know what, in my knowing, God put them here, you know, because even though they came on the YouTube page, God put them here, you know. And a lot of people, it's easy to say you believe in God, but I always tell people, I don't want people to believe in God. I want everybody to know God, because I'm from the South Bronx, and being in the South Bronx and growing up in the South Bronx, when you think about people that's outside of America, it ain't easy for people that's growing up outside of America that don't got the resources we got and the money that we got and the housing and shelter that we got. And as I said, from a kid, always thought different around the world, and a lot of people ain't got God. A lot of people ain't got God, and it's not their fault. Okay, it's not their fault. And my heart goes out to them because excuse me, man. See, a lot of people think that it's okay to just say things, right? But what you say, does it hold weight in life? And like I started with this like probably 6 minutes ago or so of talking about Sarid. I have a lot of male friends and boy cousins that me and a lot of my friends and boy cousins and lions buried. And always tell people, is you may think it's simple, but this shit ain't simple at all. Burying your elementary school friend, burying your childhood friend, and you looking in a casket at your childhood friends. I had to look at a lot of my friends and my boy cousins in caskets. And one thing that really hurts the most is when you think about when y'all was kids. I remember my lion slash my friend, real friend, you know, not these new school so-called friends. Talk about a friend where his sister and my girl cousins is best friends, to the point where we was in elementary school in 198 in the South Bronx, and we became cousins. As I said, I was the short one, he was the tall one. I was Delvin, he was Kelvin. That's our real names, okay? That can't be made up, okay? That's to show you how God really works, okay? I was D, he was K. Now, I remember being in 198, and I would tell you, like, the Italian Job, how the lady, forgot her name, but she was asking Mark Wahlberg what's his secret ability. And when you seen what Mark Wahlberg did in the movie when he was a little kid, always tell people, you know, that's 50-50 somewhat me, you know. And I tell some people in this world that I don't create certain things, but I grew up around a family and friends and family. Excuse me, said that already, knock on wood. But I grew up around people that we love each other for real. And I grew up around people that, I don't know, they just think different about each other. And I didn't grow up around people that'll watch you hurt yourself or watch you make people hurt you. You know, like, y'all may not know this person, but I watched Joker on Upper Class Podcast the other day. And he said, if your cousin fight, you fight too. I'm sorry, man. I'm from them days where if you got a problem with my brother when we was kids or when how we grew up, you got a problem with somebody that I love, it's a problem with me as well. Okay? I don't I don't know how people grow up. Now, bless up, man. Thank you very much. You know this. I'm learning how to get over it. You know, but to be honest with you, how my lion was taken out, it was dirty. And it's all good though. You feel me? Cause I know he right behind me right now watching and listening to this. Whether you want to call it YouTube or podcast or whatever. You know, and yeah, I did shed a few tears like a little bitch, Sarid, but it's all gravy. You already know. Drop, drop. But I say like, my lion was taken out by a coward. Somebody that stabbed him in the chest with a knife for money. And I don't give a F, man. He was worth more than that money. But to that person that did what they did, they wasn't. Didn't matter. And him losing his life mattered to that person. Okay? And coming to grips with it, to be honest with you, some years and some days it messes with me because I think about us being in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and Sean Marone, Sarid, Poogie, Honolulu, Emmanuel, Saridia, Naheem. Like, it was family. And it wasn't nothing above that. Okay? I tell you real truth, man. Sarid DDT his little brother one day outside and on the concrete. You feel me? And I know it may sound crazy, but let me tell you something. We did a lot of crazy things to each other, but it was out of love, you know. And I remember that joint like yesterday. Sarid punched Poogie in the stomach, grabbed his neck, and just fell on the floor with both of them. And lucky thing that his forehead did hit some of the concrete, but Sarid elbow hit the concrete more than his forehead, so Sarid elbow caught more of the concrete collision than Poogie had. And Poogie had dreads, right? This is the crazy thing. Like, and we grew up with dreads or braids, you know, or some of our, you know, friends, they had Caesars or a regular haircut. Poogie dreads, like 3 of them actually saved him from actually busting his head open. The only thing he had was like a little knot. You feel me? And I remember me and Naheem was there looking, and Naheem was like, yo, he said, what the hell is wrong with Sarid? I said, nah, bro, when he get mad, he be on some different level shit. Like, he just punched him in the stomach, and he grabbed his neck, and he just said, you know how they used to wait on wrestling before they hit the DDT and knock it down? Like, Damn, who used to do the DDT? Was it Diamond Dallas Page and I think Christian? And I forgot, it was a lot of wrestlers that did the DDT. But Sarid just did it 1, 2, 3 mad quick, and like he did it so quick that I'ma say it was no way you could stop it. Okay? Yes, he did go Super Saiyan, and the shit is, let me tell you something. Poogie ran upstairs, right? Before he was like, I'm bleeding. And we was like, a little bit, but you got a knot, right? He went upstairs, washed his face in the bathroom, got a Band-Aid out of the bathroom, put a Band-Aid on his forehead, and came back outside to play. And I remember we telling Poogie, sit down, right? He said, nah, man, I'm okay. So we did like, yo, you gonna pass out. Like, you just hit your head on the concrete. He said, y'all ain't do nothing to help me. So me and Naeem was like, yo, that's y'all little crazy brother war, you know, because they was, even though we was lions together, they was blood brothers, you know. And we was like, nah, man, we ain't getting between y'all brothers fight. So I remember I went downstairs in my crib and I went and got some ice. I said, bro, I'm going to keep this on your head, you feel me? Because, like, shout out to Poogie. He in Connecticut right now, you know, and that's still my little bro. That's still the little lion, you know. Poogie is one of the most funniest people you'll ever meet in the world. Because even though Sarid, like, DDT'd him on the concrete, when he came from downstairs with the Band-Aid on, right, he was like, I'm okay. He said, if he want to fight again, tell him bring it on. I said, yo. I remember he was there telling him, like, nah, leave him alone. Like, next time he gonna do some weird stuff to you. It's gonna be even worse, right? He said, I don't care. Bring it on. And, like, trust me, we used to do some crazy things to each other, because let me tell you something. I'll give you, for example, my girl cousin, when we was kids, you know, not now, because I don't promote hitting women. My girl cousin, she threw a cat at my boy cousin, Kay, that taught me how to play basketball. And back then, my boy cousin, he used to, how could I say, he hit like Colossus, you feel me? And he punched our girl cousin in the back, you feel me? So I remember when I walked inside of our building and I seen her on the floor. I said, what happened to you? She said, F you. Kay hit me in the back. I said, what did you do to him? She was like, nothing. So later on, I found out she threw the cat at him, you know. And I'm going to say, we did some wild stuff to each other, but that made us love each other more, because out of all that nonsense, right, let me tell you something, there was nobody could have disrespect Poogie in front of Sarid or the any way around. And that's how we all grew up. We grew up where we're not going to let strangers disrespect us. And even though we disrespect each other in a respectful way, we're not going to cross lines, you know? And like, sometimes I carry this burden with me of Sarid passing away, and I may always carry it with me. I try to let it go, but if you was in my shoes, you would really understand, you know. And it hurts very much, you know, because how they say, what they call people, legends, superstars. Sarid was a legend and a superstar that didn't even want the attention. You know, he didn't want the attention. And like that's why I don't like how, as I say, man, people call themselves gangsters, thugs, or whatever you may call yourself or think you are. Sarid was young and he didn't even want none of that attention, but he was front line. And when I mean front line, right, that's not going starting trouble with anybody. That's defending your people. And you stand on whatever your people stand on. And that was Sarid. How you see people run and be cowards? I laugh at people when they say, how they say? They run away from stuff. I love you, Sarid. You already know what it is. 2-6, man. Let me tell you something. Sarid ran to what people call danger. And I remember one time I told them, I was like, bro, why did you get beat up in the store and didn't call us, right? And he told me, I always remember, never forget. He said I was in the middle of a fight. I couldn't call nobody. And I remember I wasn't mad at him that day, but I had to realize years later, like, he was right. He in the middle of, like, he was, let me see. I'm going to explain it real to you. He's a 12-year-old kid, right? Fighting dudes that's 18 and 19 years old. 5 of them in a corner store getting jumped in back of a corner store. And if an old Puerto Rican man didn't tell Sean that his brother is down the block fighting, let me tell you something. It would have, I don't know, Sarid would have fight till his last breath, but it would have been how, we met him, man. I remember I told Sarid, I was like, yo, why you ain't call nobody? And I wasn't even really thinking back then, I'm like, yo, why you ain't call nobody? You there in the middle of this, and that. He was like, I couldn't call nobody, Delvin. I'm in the middle of a fight, And I said, okay. But it taught me, like, yo, like if you in the middle of a battlefield, right, by yourself and you fighting the enemy, you're not waiting for your soldiers and your troops. You going fight till your last breath. And if your troops come, they come. But if they don't come, you already know it is what it is. You feel me? Like, and I always give it up to him for that, cause we laughed at it later and all that. But it was funny, Like, I do miss my little bro, cause he was one of a kind, I still hold his Bible. I remember I had his Bible in front of my TV, watching the NBA Finals. I miss you, little bro, for real, yo. Like, fuck, man. Oh, man, let me tell you something. We did, yo, let me tell you something. I remember one time, right? My boy cousin Chunky that's in North Carolina right now. Yo, he, like, you talking about me punching rings out of people. I remember one time he almost punched my soul out of my stomach. He came in my crib. We living on Madison between Ralph and Patchen in Brooklyn. You feel me? Now, he said, yo, Delvin, what's up? We just came back from the store, me, him, Ozzy, and Naheem. He said, yo, Delvin, what's up? I said, ain't nothing, think of walking regular. And me and Chunky, one of my cousins, me and Chunky, we, I don't know how people fight or what people call martial arts or combat fighting. But me and my cousin, we been fighting since we could remember, from we was kids. And we don't do it just to fight, but we do it to keep each other sharp, So, I remember he just said, bow! Let me tell you something. If I had juice, water, or whatever food in my stomach, I'd have throw it up that day. I remember I fell on one knee. I said, oh, shit, Chunky, you got me. So I remember Ace laughing, Naheem laughing and shit, and he did laughing. He went in the living room. I'm still in the kitchen. I said, "Don't worry, bro. I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you back." He there sitting on the edge of the living room couch, and I'm in the kitchen getting some water. They there laughing, talking shit in my living room and shit. You feel me? 4 cousins, we in the crib having fun. So I remember I just came out of nowhere, hit him with the left hand in the stomach. Bow! Like, what was my boy name? I gave him an Hadouken one, for real. I said, bow! Let me tell you something. He stayed on that couch for 5 minutes. So Naheem and Ace and me just there dying. I said, I told you don't F with me, bro. I told you I'm going to get you back. And I remember it was like, we used to do stuff like that to each other, like, you hit me hard or something, like, I'm going to get you back, like, and the shit is, it wasn't no crying. You better be, like, prepared for it, even like that joint, like, I remember the shit that we call birthday punches, right? We used to actually try to rip each other's shoulder off. Okay, and like, shout out to all my boy cousins, shout out to all y'all boy cousins and girl cousins, because I remember some days certain cousins, we used to draw in the line the way to hit your cousin, whether it was a girl or boy. And like, sometimes you take it easy on the girls, you feel me? But I remember we used to do, like, some people you hit them soft, bow, 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 depending on how much they was. And if they was 13, you wait till you get to 12, and the last one you just go, bow, happy birthday. And that was what we grew up in. Back in the days, we were warriors. And like, man, we enjoyed life. Okay? And like, this is the sad thing. We enjoyed life back then when we didn't have a cell phone that I'm on right now. We didn't have a laptop. You had a desktop in the crib and but you ain't had none of this. And we had to use life, imagination. Proud Sonic Boom, Elder, that's Guile shit, yeah. Delvin, don't let go. Nah, man, he was. Surreal was something, man, for real. And like, I lost a lot of boy cousins, lost a lot of close friends. But Surreal was somebody when we moved to Brooklyn. He was a brother that I could never get back. And none of us could never get back. That's just one of the reasons why I don't like cowards or punks in this world, for real. A lot of people may talk tough, but this ain't no tough talk, man. And I could never talk tough. Could. For real, because how people try, I don't think it was no trying with us. We just lived a life that we was living in. And shout out to all my lions around the world, worldwide. I love you. And it's never going to end. A lot of people in this world, you may love your family and your close ones. I love my family and I love my lions. And I never turn my back on none of them. After we gone, our brothers and sisters will be having this same conversation, reminiscing about us. No matter what I lose in life, I never want to lose my mind, aka my hard drive. And that's for real. Elder, I heard that. Punches to the kneecaps. Yeah, oh yeah, we did that too. You hit each other on the kneecaps unexpectedly, or punch somebody in the back of the kneecaps when we outside in the park. Yeah, that used to be the famous joint. You hit them, especially if you left-handed. We used to get a lot of left-handed people. You punch them in the back of the kneecap and they buckle down on the ground, and you be like, oh, he ain't ready to play ball today. For real. Okay, punches to the kneecaps hit different though. Them shots would have one limpet. Oh yes, for real. Shit, we played. Shit, we played all day without eating, drinking. No, we just ran. We just ran up and down, and I always tell, a lot of people say, like, we ran in 100 degrees back then playing full court basketball or even half court. And how I see people, they be in arenas and stadiums, right? And they get tired of playing 48 minutes. The last time I checked, man, in the hood, you running a full court basketball game 5-on-5, and like we playing, come on, more than 50 minutes, hard body, okay, going to 32. And then if you really wanted to take it there, like you saying like, yo, we running up to 40, okay? And trust me, when dudes get angry that they losing and everybody on the sideline screaming next, the game keeps on going up, because there's going to be somebody like, nah, yo, y'all better put up money. I'm not leaving, yo. And trust me, I remember days when I was a little kid, like 8, 9 years old, and in the hood, right? Playing basketball or football. You know the amazing words, who's next or I got next. Let me tell you something. I remember being in the South Bronx growing up playing basketball in 198 Park. I remember my first day when the big kids let me get a chance to play in 198 Park. You felt like a god, okay? Because you remember all the little days of you practicing as a little kid, and you remembering them not picking you. You remember sometimes you missed your free throw shot. You remember sometimes you couldn't be a captain. You remember sometimes you was the last one to be picked. But when they picked you, I remember one thing that my cousin Kay always said: when you get picked, bro, you make sure you show them it's showtime like the Lakers. Because your friends may pick you or your family may pick you, but when you go to different parks, that's when people play favoritism. That's when some people, they only gonna pick who they know, who they grew up with, who play in the park every day. Unless a person know your skill set, they not gonna really pick you every day or every other day or every week. No. Because I remember being in 198 Park, and I remember arguing with the big dudes like, I could play. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't play that much good, but my love for basketball as a little kid back then, I thought I was the best little shit on the court, and even though I knew every day was a learning lesson, because my big boy cousins and the big dudes on my block, they used to play, I wasn't scared to play with them and their friends, because I knew that I was young, right? But I knew if I played with them, my skills could get better. And I had days where I used to cry to play with my big boy cousins, the big dudes on the block, because I know, as I said, if I play with them, I'm going to upgrade my skills. It's not no disrespect to the kids that was my age, but I hated playing basketball with kids my age when I was a kid. I didn't, because a lot of the kids my age used to thought I was disrespectful, but I'm not getting nowhere playing the dudes my age. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even though a lot, like, I can remember like 3 games. Brian beat me, Dwayne beat me when I was a kid. Who else? Shoot, Steph beat me. Like, those is 3 people I can remember straight off the head beat me when I was a kid. Okay, and trust me, the only person I didn't get back was Steph. Okay, because he beat me 1.5 game. I remember when Brian beat me. Oh, man, that game, I never forget that game. Never forget that game, because it wasn't like a game that just came out of nowhere, because they talked about it before we played. And I was supposed to be prepared for the game, but to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you the straight truth. I wasn't prepared for the game because, He beat me. You know, he beat me, and I went practicing in the middle of the first game and the second game. Because I told my cousin, I said, Kay, I said, he beat me. He said, yeah, I saw it. And I remember my cousin there telling me, like, yo, he put me to shame and all that. And I'm there thinking, like, yeah. And that's what my cousin told me. He said, if you lose the next game, I'm going to beat you up. And as I said, like, my skills wasn't up there, but I won that game because I was scared of my cousin beating me up. Okay? And, like, I'm going to be totally honest. My skills wasn't up there at that moment. I could have played basketball, but my skills wasn't where I wanted it to be fully. And me being scared of my cousin beating me up, what got me through that whole game of beating Brian. Basketball or stick ball was fun back then. No, it was, man. Like, let me tell you, man, I think I had more fun playing stick ball than baseball, because I remember when we used to play stick ball, right? And me, I used to be not cheat, but I used to put duct tape on the end of the stick ball. For real. I used to put duct tape on both ends. For real. Because I remember one day, came outside, and everybody there talking about, oh, we're going to play with this stick right here. So I remember asking, hold on, let me see. Dale. I said, Dale, where did y'all get that stick from? He said, my kitchen. So I said, okay. I said, hold on 1 minute. I said, I'm going upstairs to my house to go get the duct tape, right? So I remember I went upstairs to get the duct tape, and I started duct taping the front of the stick, and I started duct taping the handle part of the stick, right? So I said, watch we hit the ball even further. We played with the yellow tennis ball, or we played with the blue hand ball, okay? Now, let me tell you something. When you play with the blue ball, right, and you hit that joint correctly, stick ball, let me tell you, that blue ball is going to fly in that park. Whether you're in the park or the lot. You have to have power to actually hit the tennis ball far. Okay? Because if you know baseball, right? When we was playing stick ball back then, if you're a little kid, the most you're going to hit is either... You ain't really hitting no doubles when you're a little kid playing with that yellow ball. But when you playing with the blue ball, you can hit a double easy as a kid. But as I said, you have to have strength to hit the yellow ball and to make it fly. Okay, whether it was a home run or a triple. Okay. We had to stay outside. My mom's famous line was, ain't running in and out my house. Once we was outside, we stayed outside. Yeah. You know, yo, let me tell you something. No disrespect to nobody, but that's one thing a black mama will tell you, okay? It ain't no running in and outside of that crib. Because once she say she locked that door and she in her room watching TV or talking on the phone or cooking or cleaning, and your mom's, whether you had the key or not, okay? Let me say it again to everybody in the hood that grew up in the hood, whether it's America or outside of America. When your mama said, do not come in and out of her house. Because trust me, I know some people remember those days you went to your friend's house to take a piss. Okay? Because if you went back upstairs, you're behind staying upstairs. For real. Shout out to all the mamas in the hood. For real. When I played stick ball, I hit with one hand. Okay. Nah, you see? I'm going to be real. I'd have had to tell you why you doing that. If we was kids, I'd probably tell you cheated. Right, I'm like, what you doing, yo, for real? Cause I remember Dale told me and Donald told me I was cheating, putting the tape on there. I said, me and Samson and Champ was the littlest around, and my brother, Dale, Donald, they was like the big heads. And I said, no, man, like, because I thought outside the box. If I put the tape on it, It's going to make the stick stronger, and you can hit the ball a little further, I thought. And you know what? It became somewhat true. Because let me tell you something. Don't matter where you play stick ball, I never really heard too much people putting duct tape on the end and the thing. And let me be honest with you. Make sure you put a little tape in the middle nowadays too if you want to play stick ball still, okay? Because when you have the tape at the edge and the top, and you keep on swinging that stick ball, whether you use the mop stick or you use the broomstick, it's wood. You always use wood. Please don't be using that steel mop stick at your crib or the steel broomstick. Make sure I say that because every time you use a mop stick, the wood one, or the broomstick, every day that wood getting weak. Okay, so you make sure you duct tape that joint around and you use it to hit further, but you gotta make sure every day that everybody using that stick ball, you gotta make sure it don't break. And if it do break, you go to the store, you go to somebody's crib and you get another one. And check this out. Back then, you couldn't break certain stuff in the hood, okay? Because, like, you remember when your mama told you don't bring her stuff outside? Okay? So it was like that, okay? You break a broomstick back then, you was breaking, like Carlos, his mom's mop stick. And then the pops got to buy a new stick or the mom's got to buy a new stick. Don't you remember back then we had different days where you can't let nobody ride your bike? Come on, man. Oh, shit. Hold on. Elder just made me laugh. Hold on. Be locked out for nights. Yeah, yo, let me tell you something. Yo, I remember anybody could really remember this, yo. When you there knocking on the door because you ain't got your key. Okay? And your pops may be easy with it. You feel me? But mama gonna tell you where your key at. And you can't tell you, like, I forgot it somewhere or I lost it. Okay, you better find it. Proud facts all night then. Got a beating the next day for not coming home on time and staying out all night. Nah, man, back then they had rules, man. You had order. For real, I remember when my mom used to tell me stay on Morrison 170, right? And I remember when I actually started going around the corner, because I ain't never been disrespectful to my moms and pops, but as I say, I was very curious as a kid, and I wanted to travel, so I remember going around the corner on Grant Avenue, and even though it was fun on my block, around the corner on Grant Avenue was another world. You feel me? Even though growing up in your neighborhood is cool on Morris, right? But when you went around the corner on Grant, different. They played basketball different. They ran on the block different. Everything was different. Even though it was around the corner, it was still a different world. Elder, those days are missed, I swear. And same if you lose a fight, you was going home to a whooping. Those times can't be duplicated. Oh no, man, like you I miss those days too, proud. Nah, man, you can't. I remember, I say this, I remember one time, some Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, right? They jumped a black boy. And you can laugh at it now, and I know the person, personally, this is why I'm telling this story, but I remember it was like probably 13 Puerto Rican and Dominican boys together, they jumped the black dude, and I remember 3 people came and helped this little boy, you know. And I remember it had one person there, R.I.P. 10. He was there knocking dudes out like bowling balls, you know. Bow, bow, bow. They was falling, you know, one hit quitters. So I remember when the dude looked at the little kid that was getting jumped, you know, the big dude, and he said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm okay." So I remember when he said, "Yo," he said, "You can't be chilling around these people. They ain't messing with you." You know what the little kid told him? He said, "They shouldn't be around me. I'm not messing with them." And he just got himself beat, jumped by like 13 dudes. I remember when the dude went back to his neighborhood, right? And his big cousin seen him. And he asked him, he said, "What happened?" So the other dude told him, he said, "Oh, he got his ass whipped down the block." You know? So the dude big cousin said, "Who put their hands on you?" So I remember the little kid said, he said, "A couple of guys in the park." So the guy asked him, he said, "What you was doing in the park?" He said, "I was trying to play baseball." Now, this is nothing to glorify, but this is to show you hood injustice. I remember the dude big cousin telling him, he said, "You went to go play baseball?" He said, "You don't even know how to play baseball." Right? And I remember the dude, his big cousin, he said, "You know what?" He said, "I'm going to show you something." Okay? His big cousin gathered a couple of his friends, and they went to the same park where his little cousin just got beat up. And I will say they tap dance on them. And the little kid, he was watching human beings get thrown around the place, and he was watching how they say in movies and Batman, pow, wow, pow, psh, psh. He was watching violence, and how they say blood fly, he was watching blood fly. But this is the sad thing. He was enjoying it. And I never forget it, because to some people, things like that will shock certain little kids. But he was enjoying what was happening to the guys that just finished jumping him. And in history, many people will say he's wrong, but to me, I will say it was part of his learning curve. I remember leaving from in front of my building. The whole building would tell your mom's will tell your mom's looking for you. You can hear my heart beating outside my body. Oh no, proud my mom's didn't play Elder. Same with ours. No, it didn't. Nah, that's just. Let me tell you something. My mom did the same thing, but I was, how could I say? I'm gonna be honest. I always like to go against the grain. Not disrespectfully, but I was always curious as a kid, you know, because I remember the first time I went to Central Park and I wasn't supposed to be in Central Park. I didn't care, but I was curious as a kid because you seen Central Park on TV, you seen it in movies, and I would say this. I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was there. And this is as a kid. You know, so it was fun. You know, like I would say sometimes when you're curious in this world, you might find what you're looking for, good or bad. And when I was a kid, let's say I bumped into a lot of stuff that I was curious looking for, because it wasn't like I was Evel Knievel or Daredevil, but how could I say it? How they say F around and find out? I used to like to F around and find out. Like, not about a human, but like the world itself. Cause I I don't know, I wasn't scared to find out what I wanted to find out. You know, if I was curious about something, I'm gonna jump in the water. I'm gonna jump in the pool, you know, and many of times I jumped in the water and I didn't care if I had a life jacket. I don't care if it was a boat there or not. I jumped in the water and I let it do what it do, you know, and I'm still here talking to everybody, you know. What, Delvin, when they showed the 5 deadly venoms for the first time, my whole building thought we knew karate. What's meant to happen will happen. And that's why I was never, I wouldn't say scared, but I didn't fear walking into a door. Because how some people say that they don't know. Well, if you don't know, you ain't gonna never know. I gotta go through that door to know what I wanna know. You know, nah, man, let me tell you something. The 5 deadly venoms, and even Drunken Master. I remember my aunt, my mother's big sister, she was famous for karate movies and horror movies. We had all different type of movies, but like in my crib, we had like Caribbean movies. We had Disney movies as a kid. Had some comedy movies, had some romance movies, had some black drama. You know, but my aunt, she was famous for the karate. We had a little bit of karate, but my aunt had the karate and horror. And I lived on Prospect in 168. But let me tell you something. As you said, your whole building thought karate, let me tell you something. I remember people jumping off the stairs and kicking people in the chest, okay? We used to, like, you jump, let me tell you something. We used to jump off the stairs, elbow people, like you Shawn Michaels and stuff. Like, come on, man. I remember when everybody thought they was Shawn Michaels, jumping off of anything, and you landing on your friends because y'all play wrestling and stuff. Like, before everybody tried to do the people's elbow and leg drop, like, nah, man, we was jumping off, and we thought we was Macho Man and Shawn Michaels, okay? I remember when my little cousin, right, Naheem, that lives in Jersey, I remember he used to like that frog splash, that Eddie Guerrero joint. Yo, let me tell you something. I remember he used to always try to get on top of something, don't matter where we was. And my boy, a frog splash you even if you standing up. You feel me? And trust me, you is gonna fall because he gonna make sure he throw his body into you and he gonna do the double pump like Eddie Guerrero. And I used to be, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I used to hate wrestling him sometimes when we was kids because he'd do, like, you thinking you crazy, right? He'd do the crazy joint, like backflip off the gate and jump on you, and you'll be there like, yo, bro, we not ECW or WWF, but, and he was the one who put me on the ECW as well, you know, so, because he used to, like, what is it, headbutt you, you know, and all that, and I used to be like, bro, like, this is regular wrestling, but he took it there, you know, he took it there where he gonna headbutt you. He gonna hit you with something, and I don't know. My cousin Naheem, he used to wrestle crazy, but that's when you had to learn, like, yo, you can't be wrestling regular, like you hitting like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man with the regular punches and the kicks in the stomach. Like, you gotta pick up stuff and hit him too. You feel me? Cause I remember when we outside, right, and like he'll hit you with a chair. He gonna hit you with a chair to kill you and everything, but he gonna hit you with a chair. Huh? Uh-huh. Hold up. He gonna hit you with a chair, you know? And trust me, you know how, what is it? Stone Cold used to crush the beer on his head, my boy cousin will pick up a bottle from outside and he will hit you in your head with it. Okay? He will hit you with a bottle. This is the shit my cousin used to ask you. Like, we having a regular match or a hardcore match? And I used to tell him, bro, I want to have a regular match with you. If we have a hardcore match, you do all type of crazy shit. You know, and like, yeah, my cousin, we used to play rough, but he used to like hardcore matches, you know, and I remember when we was on Fulton between Saratoga and Thomas Boylan in the park, right? We used to have Royal Rumbles in the park. Yo, let me tell you, y'all think people flipping off the gate is something easy or jumping off the gates? Like, man, I remember boys used to, like, you know how they rappel themselves off the rope and acting like they jumping. I remember dudes used to bang onto the gate like they rappelling off the rope and clothesline each other. Like, and it was fun. You feel me? Cause I remember sometimes we have 2-on-2 matches or something, or a Royal Rumble, and it's like, yo, you and your boy cousin against 2 other dudes that y'all don't know, or 2 dudes y'all do know, and everybody having fun. You feel me? And you know what the shit is? Let me be real, yo. We ain't like when nobody cried back then, because when you cried back then, you couldn't play with everybody. Okay, you gonna play tomorrow, but when you cry right away, nah, man, you better go sit down or go home, okay? Because we wasn't playing or wrestling each other to hurt each other, but we was playing, growing up, and we was trying to make each other better, okay? Because as I said with my cousin Chunky, like, me and my cousin Chunky, we had a religion where we fight all the time, even up till this day. He's 36 years old and I'm 42 right now, but we just, like, I don't know how other people raised up, but we raised up where me and him, we gotta get it off of our chest. We gonna wrestle and we gonna tussle with each other, because that's me and Chunky. That's how we grew up. That's how we bred, you know? And with us doing that, we never got hate in our heart and souls for each other, because we know what brothers and we know what cousins is, and we know what love is. Okay? It ain't nothing. And to be honest, I get y'all, because I said it before. I remember only one time, actually, me and Chunky, my boy cousin, and that wasn't even, we was somewhat mad at each other, but this was the first, and R.I.P. my godmother, my aunt Princess. She was very ashamed of us that day. But that was the first time she ever heard us actually ready to cut each other's throats off. And a lot of people may not like what I'm about to say, but I will say this. I remember that day we kind of shattered her heart a little bit, because, as I said, me and my cousin, we fought since we was like 5-6 years old. If my mother bring us over to their crib, or they mother and father bring them over to our crib, everybody walk in the house. Me and Chunky at the door fighting. Okay? And I'm talking about for like 10 minutes or whatever. We there fighting. And we get back up and we say, let's go outside. Okay? While my brother and his brother, they inside the crib already. And my mother and his father and my father, they inside the crib. Me and Chunky, the door open and we fighting between the door. And we did that for years upon years. And some people may look at it as weird or crazy, but that's us. And he is one of my boy cousins that'll tell you, I will walk in hell with Delvin, and I will walk out of hell with him. I will walk in heaven with him, and I will walk out of heaven with him. And we said that when we was little kids. Okay? And it ain't nothing changed. Okay? Because I watch how people talk about they trade on their brothers and sisters. Nah. I don't know how to raise up in a generation where You ain't gonna get along with everything your brother and your sister say, but you're not hating them to kill them. You're not even hating them, okay? Because people get disagreements mistaken for hate. Nah, even it. Come on. I remember for years, like I said, if I like a Samsung and my cousin like an iPhone, that's your twist. That's your twist. And you ain't got to do it like that, you know, because it got some people, you may wear Reeboks, your brother wear Nike. You may like red paint, your brother like blue paint. Okay? Just because people grow up with you, don't ever try to make them have the same like feelings that you have for certain things. Okay? Like it's gonna be universal love around because y'all are who y'all are with each other. But don't ever try to make him love bananas and you love apples. No. Cause it's just like, yeah, I may eat okra, but when we was kids, my brother throw that joint up every day. Every day my mother and father gave us okra or whatever, he throw it up. Cause I had to realize when we was kids and then I got older that my brother, it went from his mental mind to where he didn't like okra from when we was kids, and then it just grew up into his body and his soul itself to where, yeah, my brother will put it in his plants and all of that, but don't ever try to make my brother's stomach or eat okra because he's not going to do it. And I overstand. Okay, let me see. If you wasn't on guard, you might turn around and get clothesline. Oh yes, and man, let me tell you something. I remember getting clotheslined a lot. You know, my cousin used to cheese, right? He used to try to beat you up and wear you down, right? And fucking do the Hulk Hogan leg drop on your chest. I'm like, bro, you're supposed to do it like, you know. But as I say, he used to like to do crazy unorthodox moves to you, and you just regular wrestling and fighting. He didn't want to do crazy stuff. And I remember a lot of our other boy cousins like, I'm not wrestling with that, you know, not playing with him. For real. I remember when he used to do the people's elbow to you, he used to actually really try to make sure his elbow drop inside of your muscle. Okay? I remember The Rock gave Mankind a concussion after giving all of them chair shots. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I feel for Mankind Cactus Jack. He probably was one of the most wrestlers that got some of the most abuse in wrestling history. Nick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack. What was it? Dude Love. What was the other names that Nick Foley had? He had Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love. I think those was... And I remember, like, I'd say Mankind is my favorite character out of all of them. Dude Love used to make me laugh sometimes because I was like, oh, shoot, you know? Okay, if you wasn't on guard, you might turn around and get clotheslined. Yes, you would. Dudes would clothesline you out of nowhere. You know what I used to like to do though? I used to like to spare people like Goldberg. For real. Because I was short and skinny, but I know I could take your whole body from under you. You feel me? If I grabbed your legs and just pick both of us up, and I knew that I was coming with speed. You feel me? Like I'm not fast as I used to be on my legs, but back then I was fast, and trust me, my quickness will pick you up, and we both falling, you know? I can't lie. Once I seen that up close, didn't play no more. Once they started wrestling, I would leave. Oh no, it had certain dudes that they wasn't playing with that, you know? Yeah, I ain't watched wrestling in years too, cause to be honest with you, I miss like the old school generation that how could I say, Triple H, Mankind, The Rock, Farouk, Ahmed Johnson. Let me see. Undertaker. Even though Randy Orton is part of the new generation, he's still one of my favorite wrestlers of all time too. Cause I respect his father, Cowboy. You know, and I like history. And Randy Orton is he's one of those people because I think if what it was his father and his uncle and his grandfather. I like the Hart Foundation too, because the Hart Foundation is somewhat related to Lionheart. That's what we took it from the Lions and Bret Hart Foundation to create Lionheart and much more, So they are. I can't really say I can't never pick between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. I can't never really do that, even though. Nah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Because they're both good independent solo wrestlers. Even though and Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, if I'm correct, what is it, the Rockers? And I remember we used to do that shit, put the tissue cloth and shit around our freaking arms and shit, thinking we them. Put anything around our arms, thinking we was Ultimate Warrior and Marty Jannetty in them, And as I said, flying off the bed or flying off the gate, thinking that you elbowing people like Shawn Michaels and Macho Man. Who is that? I'm trying to think about a couple of wrestlers. I like the Queen Elizabeth. I like the Sensational Sherry. I like the Mae Young, Moolah. I may be saying her name wrong, but the two old ladies, Jackie, Stable. I think I said Stable. Trish Stratus. Let me see. Shout out to even Stephanie McMahon, even though she's part of the new generation too. She's not part of the 90s generation and the WWF generation. She's part of the new WWE generation. Shout out to Christian and Edge. I did like the Hardy brothers, Jeff and Matt Hardy, if I'm correct. Who is it from ECW? Even though Taz, Sabu, and a couple of other. What is it? Sandman, AJ Styles, Mark Henry. Back then, wrestling was Stone Cold. I would say The Rock and Stone Cold are two of the best promotional wrestlers in wrestling history, because you could make them appeal to people around the world, and what is it? I remember when Stone Cold name was Stunning Steve Austin. He wasn't that popular, but when that Stone Cold Steve Austin 316 came, don't matter where you was in this world, if you was a WWF fan and a wrestling fan and supporter, because I'm not going to just leave it to the fanatics, you liked it, Austin 316. And I remember when I was I liked it, The Rock and Undertaker. I like Undertaker because Undertaker is from, I think I could remember Undertaker from 1995 when I was a kid. And I remember Undertaker, he, don't matter what you say, it's 3 wrestlers in WWF history that made WrestleMania. Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Hulk Hogan. And Shawn Michaels will be an honorable 4th one. Okay? Because it's just like, for example, if you say who are the most popular people in the NBA, right straight off the back in NBA history, people may not like it, but Michael Jordan and LeBron James, then you have people like Kobe and Iverson. Don't matter where you go, those 4 names will be known in NBA history. Okay. Remember the Buffalinas and the Mountain Gears. Hold up, I had a Mountain Gear bike, but I think it was a 10-speed. Buffalinos. I had a 10-speed, the first, but my first bike when we moved to Brooklyn because when I was in the Bronx, I had a little First bike I had was a little red bike with training wheels when I was like, what is it, 6 years old. Then after that, I used to ride my brother white and gray bike. You know, he had a freestyle white and gray bike. Then after that, I started taking K bike, you know, cause my boy cousin, he used to fix mad bikes, and we used to create all different type of bikes, you know, cause where we lived, we had bikes on top of bikes on top of bikes in different parts. So back then, you could say we had like a bike garage, you know, for anybody, and anybody on the block could have had a bike, you know. Trust me, over 50 bikes and different parts in the backyard and stuff, or anywhere, you know. But that'd be a story for another time. Okay, damn proud, that's way back. Elder Mick Foley got thrown off. Hell, I think Undertaker did that. Yes. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you remember the first time Kane came to the WWF when he ripped the door. It wasn't I think it was the cage or something, and like, I remember that's the first time any one of us seen Undertaker get manhandled like that. And I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't happy because I was an Undertaker supporter growing up, you know? And I was like, whoa, you ain't never seen nobody like body Undertaker like that. And with Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off, and I think, did he land on the table that day? Let me tell you something. That was R.I.P. Owen Hart. I felt sorry for Mick Foley that day when he got thrown. For real, because if I'm correct, that's more than 10 feet. You know, that's more than 10 feet that Undertaker threw him. And I did carpentry, and I built buildings from the foundation all the way to the roof and chimney. When you on top of a chimney or a roof and you look down on the concrete in the street, oh, it's far, even from 2 storage. Okay? So when you up like 4 storage, and then you take it as, and this is a, what they call it, Hell in a Cell, right? I think. When you call it like Hell in the Cell, and you throw somebody off a wrestling ring like that, oh my gosh. Even though it's wrestling, I'll be like, damn. Because I say Owen Hart, sorry. That was one of the most craziest things ever in wrestling history that I ever seen, you know, for real. R.I.P. to Owen Hart, you know. And I know a lot of people like to big up Bret Hart because he's the popular brother, and British Bulldog and Jim the Anvil Hart, but always messed up his name, Jim the Anvil Hart. But he was cool, you know, the one with the long ass beard. British Bulldog and I'm gonna be real, man, for real. The Hart Foundation, British Bulldog, he was like really like one of my favorite wrestlers when I was a kid, cause that move that he used to do, I remember when my boy cousin used to do that to me, and I remember one day when he let me down, I remember he went to sleep one day and I just headbutted him when he was sleeping, you feel me? Cause I remember I felt the blood rushing to my head when he did that shit to me. He dropped me on the bed. Oh, I was so freaking mad, but I couldn't beat my big boy cousin, and I know the only thing that's gonna get to him or hurt him somewhat is if I headbutt him or hit him when he sleep. Man, I headbutt him when he was sleeping. I remember he woke up, said, "Ah, shit," and I ran. He chased me and effed me up though. He chased me and effed me up. Okay, let me see. Mick Foley got thrown off Hell in the Cell by Undertaker and almost died. Wasn't that the time when his teeth came through his nose or something? Or I think one of his teeth came out and still got up. I'm like, this dude. Nah, Mick Foley is... let me tell you. Some people say Mick Foley is one of the most hardcore wrestlers in any, like, wrestling league. Whether it's WCW, ECW. Because we all seen Mick Foley body go through pain. From we was kids till we turned teenagers. And I know a lot of us stopped probably watching wrestling when we was teenagers, because that's when I ain't saying fully stopped watching it, but I think when I was like 17, like I wasn't feeling it no more. So I start watching Raw once in a while. And to be honest, I was mad when the WCW, I was mad and happy when the WCW merged with the WWF, because I knew it was the end. And I grew up on Monday Nitro. I grew up on Thursday Thunder. You know, like, I grew up loving WCW more than WWF. Even though I seen WWF before WCW, like, I grew up on NWO days, you know, and I don't care what nobody say. The NWO and Generation X and the Nation of Domination and the Heart Foundation, in my opinion, those are four memorable groups in wrestling history. And the Corporate Ministry. This way back, who remembers the wrestling moves? The chicken wing. Of course I remember the chicken wing. That's Bob Backlund, if I'm correct, right? You know, shoot, my cousin almost broke my left arm with that shit. My shoulder. For real. I remember I had to shoot. What you... I don't hate him till this day, but I still want to punch him in his eye till this day. I remember that shit. Like, bro, man, he almost broke my shoulder, bro. And I remember, you remember when you used to have to tap, right? My cousin used to leave that shit on you like a move. He used to leave it for like 20 extra seconds. Okay? Shout out to you, but I still love you, bro. I still punch you in your eye, though, for real. For real. Elder, that's a Bob Backlund. Yup. Cross-faced chicken wing. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I used to, I'm a bastard. One of my favorite moves to do to people was the sharpshooter. For real. Was the sharpshooter. Cause, and I'm trying to, and it's fours up for life. And I gotta, you know, even though I didn't like they keep changing the group, but two of the most, I remember Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. I forgot the other dude. He was like the enforcer. No, Arn Anderson was the enforcer of the what's the name? The Four Horsemen. But those was one of my favorite crews as a kid too, the Four Horsemen. Like, even though, and I remember over the years they keep switching the crew up. I used to get mad at that joint. I remember Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. And I don't care what nobody say. Ric Flair is a wrestling treasure. Okay? He is. He's a treasure. Hold on. Hold on 1 minute, I'm coming. Yeah, there we go. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson. Yeah, Arn Anderson, brother. Nah, man, Arn Anderson, people sleep on him. Texas Cloverleaf submission look painful too. Dean Malenko, man, come on. One of the best technicians next to Chris Benoit. Nah, Dean Malenko, WCW, man. I like the old WCW Rey Mysterio. Hold on, please. Yeah, sorry about that. Still at work. Yeah, like now people be bigging up Hulk Hogan like he is greatest wrestler of all time. Like, nah, no disrespect to him, but I rather look at people like Bret Hart, Undertaker, and a lot of things that when you learn a lot of things that Hulk Hogan did in the business behind the scenes when we was kids. He always wanted to be the main attraction. He never wanted to give anybody else credit. And when you look at it, Hulk Hogan is one of the major reasons why him and Vince McMahon, why the Ultimate Warrior and get his respect that he deserves. And Vince and Hulk Hogan had a lot of underhanded stuff. What did I think about the Doomsday trailer? I like the Doomsday trailer. If I'm correct, it's like 2 minutes and 17 seconds. But what I really want to Because my brother was saying this the other day, and I told him I don't think so, that they're still working on a lot of things because December is soon to come. I give it an 8, but I wanted to see more. Even though that I know certain things that's going to happen in the movie, I wanted to see more, but I remember even telling my brother he needs to have certain patience with certain movies. I liked it, and like I said the other day, in your live, and I think in one of my lives too, Doomsday is about to hurt a lot of feelings. You know, he's gonna hurt, and like, I like what's really going on because today I'm gonna go see Spider Man, A Brand New Day, and I don't want to spoil it for nobody, even though I know certain things that's gonna happen in the movie as well, you know. And that's another thing about when it comes to movies. I will say movies mostly. I'm not a fan of these movies and TV shows, but well, I didn't see it already, but I know certain things of how could I say? I know certain things that's gonna happen in the movie already, you know, and how could I say? I watched the movie in my mind already, but physically, nah, cause it goes like how could I say, reading the script. I like to do stuff like that, read movie scripts, you know, and I will say in this movie, I will I would like to say it may be my best Spider-Man movie yet, but I love the OG Tobey Maguire, you know. I like I love original, you know, but I'm gonna be honest to you, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. You know, I like how he and a lot of people they do like they don't get on Andrew Garfield of his Spider-Man, but I don't like how people don't like show him that much respect as his Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and I think that he did a good job because like I say, you know, a movie we could say is whack, right? But I'm not gonna say like beat the whole movie down because you don't know the time it took for these people to create this whole movie. You don't know the time it took for them to call certain actors and actresses. You don't know the time it took for them to drop certain people from the movie. You don't know the time it took for them to take certain things out of the movie. You know, so ooh. Okay, I like Spider-Man because of the history. And he is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. But like I like Venom. I like his how could I say? His no nonsense like gully shit. You feel me? But then Carnage, you know, I like Carnage crazy side, no holds bar. You know? So I like all three of them in three different ways, but because I do like Venom, his bully side. You know, Venom is a bully, and to me, I think they need to make they need to show Carnage more. You know, in the MCU, and they need to play Carnage more. Cause me and my brother always talk about this, how DC and Marvel play with their characters on the big screen, and as I said, me and my brother grew up in a house where he watched DC and I watched Marvel, and my brother, he will support certain things that I watch because it's, you know, it's TV or it's movies and it's TV shows, and we'll talk about them and have like deep dives about them. But like I told him like 3 days ago, I said use a Marvel lover on the low, you know? And he told me, he was like, nah, he don't hate Marvel, and he said he don't like them, but, and he said the same thing with DC, but it was like, it was kind of crazy because I was surprised when my brother told me the other day, he was like, he said DC need to go somewhere, and for a lot of people, they might say, what do he mean? He's not into the DC, how they make their films no more, or how they play too much with time. And I've been told him that I don't like how they play with time and characters, because you know how much DC characters you could make, but what we got: Flash, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And then after that, a few years ago, you had Black Adam. I could name, and everybody could name that's listening to this, over 10 DC characters that they could make movies about. For example, me and my brother was talking about if they make a Teen Titans movie, okay? Or a movie about Cyborg. You know, like, they could do it, but this is the point where I always say I do not know what's going on in the boardroom with the DC. I don't know what's going on. And how they say, that's above my, not pay, but that's above my life. Because I don't know how you would have over 20 DC characters, right? And we only see 5 of them on live screen. Batman, Superman, Supergirl, what is it? Black Adam, and Flash. But we have a whole bunch of people in the DCEU, you know? And I say DC for short, but it's the DCEU, you know? But I don't hate the DC. I'm just kind of ashamed of them, to be honest with you. Okay, and this is like, I say this because I love writing and I love movie creations. So I'm not ashamed of them in a bad way. I'm ashamed of them in a way where I know that these creators could put stuff on the screen. Because the next Superman movie that comes out is going to be with Superman and Supergirl in it, and Brainiac, and, you know, Crypto the dog. He's going to be in the movie too. And I'm using some belief right here, but I believe that the Superman that we just seen from the DC that came out, it was good, because if I'm correct, it sold over 600 million. But I believe that this movie with Superman and Supergirl and Crypto and Lex Luthor is going to be better than part 1. Oh, not they, and that's the thing. You see that right there? Deadshot movie. I said the other day, and I think you said it too when we was there talking about Deathstroke, Deadpool, or and Dead. I think you told me you made a suggestion of who you like more, Deathstroke, Deadpool, or Deadshot. They supposed to make a movie about the 3 of them. You know how good of a character Deathstroke is? Huh? Come on. But they, and this is the point that I don't get mad, but it's like, yo, come on, you telling me you cannot really make a movie about Deadshot? You telling me, like, yeah, they did the Joker, you know, but what is it? I think the Joker movie that they made, that they say they're not really connecting it to the DC EU. So it's like the one with Joaquin Phoenix, cause that's solo. That's not in the universe. And to me, it's just crazy how I wouldn't say confuse stuff, but you have stuff all over the place. My favorite villain from Spider-Man always will be Hydro Man. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite villain I would say is Green Goblin and Kingpin. Cause people sleep on Kingpin, but I love the Kingpin, man, for real. Like I don't care what nobody say. And on the, like, I would have to say, like, I give Scorpion For real, because I don't know if you remember Spider-Man from the cartoon. That one, the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. I used to watch that one. That one, that Scorpion, he was cool. Okay, Mysterio. Mysterio, I like him too. You know, Scorpion, the Shocker, and Kingpin. Kingpin, I would say he's my favorite. And Green Goblin. Those would be my two favorite Spider-Man villains. Because it's just like, people be thinking that Kingpin ain't never give Spider-Man that work. Yeah, Kingpin gave Spider-Man work too. DCU needs to regroup and step it up because their latest films haven't been great, to be fair. No, you're totally right, and trust me, you say it, my brother say it, millions of people around the world are saying it. So, we're not wrong, and I know that we're not wrong, because you can have movies like Avatar, you can have movies like Captain America, Infinity War. I'm wildin' saying that. I mean Civil War. I said Captain America, Infinity War. Knock on wood. Civil War. No, but when you see movies like this, and I get mad when other studios can make movies, right? And the DC can't make movies, and it's like, yo, come on, man. If me and Proud get together and we did, I would say you could probably only, let me be honest, you could give us $400,000, right? And he do what he do, and I do what I do. I bet you we could create $1 million and more movie. Because first thing it comes with writing and the imagination, and then next thing you know, you have to do marketing and planning. And that's where I learned sometimes, yes, you need big wigs to help you with your imagination, because a lot of times people they'll make me and you proud, they'll make us be stuck in the mud when there's somebody out there could actually really help us push what we got off the ground. They wasting so many crucial characters, and leaving them off screen is wasting money, which is the studio's goal is to make. We need a X-Force movie. We've been needed an X-Force movie. The last time we seen X-Force in the movie is when they died, if I'm correct, in Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Or am I wrong? I'm trying to... Now, I love Wonder Woman too, you know, because I told my brother the other day, like, she is the only girl that they are showing in... The most famous girl in DC is Wonder Woman. And I do love Wonder Woman, but I like characters like Satana and Cheetah and Harley Quinn. You know, like those are, like, to name off the head, those are like three of my favorite girls in DC. But the thing is, DC won't even, you'll see these girls in the TV shows, but you won't make a movie. And my brother was saying the other day, he said, for example, he said, yeah, I know you like the Teen Titans, right? Oh, I love Poison Ivy. I remember her from the Batman cartoons. And I forgot that, what was that? Didn't Thurman play Poison Ivy, I think, in Batman versus Robin, the live movie, if I'm correct? You know? I think so, if I'm correct. I'm not for sure. But I think it was Uma Thurman that played Poison Ivy in the Batman versus Robin. The one when, I think, if I'm correct, I think it was George Clooney that played the Batman. George Clooney played Black Batman in that, you know. She was good. I would like to say she was better in the cartoons than the live movie, you know. And even Poison Ivy. Come on, why you can't make a movie about her? But they like to do what they... I think DC like to do what they want, and they don't listen to the supporters and fans. Gotham City Serena about Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn was supposed Oh, Gotham City Sirens. Sorry, excuse me. Harley Quinn, Catwoman. Hold up. Harley, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley Quinn was supposed to be a thing, but they didn't fall through. But they didn't fall through with it because Suicide Squad flopped despite doing box office numbers. Damn, you know what? I like Suicide. I like Suicide 1. Suicide Squad 1. I do not hate Part 2. And I'm not gonna. I just wasn't too happy with Part 2. I don't hate Part 2. I don't hate it. I'm gonna just say I wasn't too happy with Part 2, and Part 1 is gonna be a classic for me forever. I like Part 1, and people be dissing on Suicide Squad just like they diss the Thunderbolts, but come on, man, you need a team like the Suicide Squad. I love them. I don't care what nobody say. You like, how they say, misfits, but you need a team like Misfits, Will Smith Deadshot costume was dope. He did that. I got hyped when he wore the mask. Let me tell you something. I'm glad you said that too. And this is why I don't like when people be under. Will Smith is a great actor. Okay? Oh my gosh, Stardust, bless up. Bless up, Stardust. I hope you having fun in Jamaica if you still there, man. Like, for real. I enjoy watching that joint the other day with you and Yard, like enjoy the island, cause what's going on in the world right now is what's going on in the world. But if you could enjoy life the best way we all could, enjoy your life, and a lot of the things in regular living, when you go to the islands and you have fun, it's different living, cause how could I say, some people, they gotta go buy mangoes in the store, right, or apples in the store. A lot of our family in the islands and our friends in the islands, certain people, they have mango tree, apple, cherry tree, and you just get a basket. Oh no, the water in the islands, in Jamaica, Antigua, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, people like to disrespect these islands, right, and call them third world countries, and like to call people immigrants and all type of stuff, right, to make derogatory names against humans. But I will say this, man. Never diss my island people, because we work hard. And yes, I could cry right now for it, okay? Because you like to call people third world, but you don't know what it is for people to leave the Caribbean islands to come to America. Nobody ain't stealing culture. They coming to live life and take care of their family, you retards. Okay? People, that's why I don't respect. I don't call them Americans or Black Americans or African Americans. I don't respect people that one, two, three, woosah. I don't respect people that talk shit about the islands and you ain't never been through shit that island people or Caribbean people been through. You live in your soft life in the UK or America and you think it's okay because you live by a structure. But these people live by a structure too, but it's a different life. And I don't like it because people think that just because they could speak English properly, and like I said in the beginning of this live, you think just because you have materialistic things that you are better than people? No. And this is why I tell you, a lot of people that talk a lot of nonsense, I don't care if it's in America or I don't care if it's in the UK. You don't believe in God or you don't know God. You just say that. For real, I don't, let me see. Blessing Stardust. Proud to be Puerto Rican and from here in the Caribbeans. Right. It's so beautiful there. No, I don't like when people, want to disrespect Caribbean people and talk about go back to your island or go back to your country. Nobody ain't coming to America or Canada or the UK to steal anybody culture. People come to live a better life. You are not important. Okay? And all of the people that be talking about coming to try to steal America, you don't even care for America. You only care for yourself. You don't care for the UK. You only care for yourself. You don't care for Canadians. You only care for yourself. So when I hear people want to be so they love their island or they love their country, do you love the people that make that island and that country? Okay, because many fruits and vegetables in this world, right? In America and the UK, trust me, they didn't come from America or the UK. Many things that you eat didn't come from America. So as I always say, a lot of American people, right? I don't like to say the other thing because people hate the truth. You feel me? I think disrespecting any human is wrong. Well, they didn't care about disrespecting our people, brother. So, I don't think it's wrong. I think certain humans need to be disrespected. Okay? I think certain humans need to be disrespected. And that's not you being negative or that's not you being positive. That's you putting things in its proper place. Because people think that it's okay. How you think that it's okay? People think that they could mess with people, right? And they call themselves bullies, right? But if you don't punch a bully in his face, they will always continue to keep on hurting people. And trust me, I ain't with that. I'm not with a punk thinking that they could bully people and you don't get hurt. You must get hurt or put in your place. Because if you had sense, you wouldn't play with people. But some people in this world, they don't have sense. They think that bullying and getting over on people, what do they call that? Tough? No, you're the big... I'm going to respect because there's a lady in the building, but you're the biggest PU. You can finish the rest for me. Okay? You are a chump. Anytime you think that you could bully and belittle people just because. No, I ain't never been the biggest person, right? But I always fought for what I feel and I know that's not correct. And if I gotta get blood beaten out of me or if I gotta fight for that, I'm gonna always fight for that. If I have to do what I have to do in this world to stand up, because as I tell people, yes, you may hear me speak about black power a lot, but I fight for what you don't know. Okay? I fight for what you don't know. Because there's many people out here, right? I see a lot of so-called black people, right? And the reason why I say so-called, because if you think that I fight for black power only, right? I done put up my body against for white people. Okay? For a whole bunch of different type of people that you call names. And trust me, I seen black people and even white people. How they say the famous thing of people want to be nice. I'm staying out of that. Nah, I'm going to jump in that pool. Okay? Because when you stay out of stuff, that's how you make bullying. And that's how you make downpression and oppression. You make it get away. And that's how we got a world full of people being depressed. We got a world full of people that killing themselves, suicides. But nobody don't want to say nothing about that. I ain't playing with that. You have many people in this world, they commit suicide because they was bullied or picked on. Let me tell you something. I like to punch the bully in the face every time. Okay? Because if you think it's okay for somebody to get bullied and picked on, right? But you don't think it's okay to beat that bully down, you's a stupid fool. And I have no respect for you, and I could care shit for you or your life. For real, can't punch somebody and not expect to get punched 10 times harder back. Bullies are people who are hurting themselves but lash out on innocent people. Well, I have a whole topic on people that are bullies, and trust me, like, the world wouldn't like to hear what I have to say. Because me, I don't care whether you're a female or a male, okay? A bully don't got a gender, okay? I'm going to say it again. I don't care whether you're a female or a male. A bully don't got a gender, okay? But let me put it in proper perspective. It don't matter if you're a female or a male. But a bully, it don't got no gender, but they do have a gender, okay? And, well, trust me, bro, a bully don't got no spine, because I done seen, like, sorry, God, please forgive me. I done seen red liquid in certain people's mouths, where that red liquid in certain people's mouths, they wasn't those bullies no more. Okay? And I'ma leave that like that. Okay? A bully is the biggest coward in the world. Not gonna say what I say, because I'm gonna have respect for Stardust being in the building. But that's a coward. You know? Thank you, Open Minded. Thank you, Proud Mixed Child. Thank you, Stardust. And thank you, Marlene, for dropping in. Everybody, have a great day. God bless Rastafari. Lion love. You stay safe too, my brother. You take care and you have a good day. Open-minded, you have a good day. Marlene, I hope you're having a good day. Stardust, keep on enjoying and being yourself. And let me tell you this too, Stardust. You keep on being that bright soul you are. Okay, and everybody that's up in this chat, I ain't gonna say this joint cause you here. Nah, man. Continue to be you. Okay? And continue to let yourself shine. We gonna have some days where you don't feel like it. You know what? But keep moving. God bless. Love you.